Let me know when you're ready to go.
I'm ready.
Well, you gotta get up here further.
Well, that's what they were saying. It was here. Virginia? Yeah, Virginia.
You ready?
Thank you. I'm glad you said something.
They're gonna come where there's opportunity.
Might help you have the mic on. There you go.
That's right.
So
Check, check, check.
yeah,
Don't we check all those boxes?
yeah.
I mean, I was really surprised that they turned that one down in Franklin Township. Especially since they were, there were only 3 pages without signatures, all the rest had signatures on it.
Some of the people
The house one,
Are we ready?
y'all talk directly in that way.
No, I'm asking them.
Are you ready?
Ready? Oh, you're good. You're good. The chair recognizes a quorum. And please stand. We'll say pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We don't have any minutes, correct? Okay. Approval of agenda. Is there any additions or corrections to our agenda? Nope. I'll call for a motion.
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Do we have a second?
Bill Colonel, second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. I got a few housekeeping items real quick. The restrooms are to the left through these doors, to my left, if you need a restroom. I'm going to go over the procedure that the meeting will be held. The presenter, the petitioner will be first. Then parties interested, or administrators, will be second. Then the petitioner will get a rebuttal. Then there will be a presentation of staff reports. And then we will go, that will close the public portion of the hearing. That's the only time comments can be made during our public portion of the hearing. And then it'll be between the board, and the board will decide on the petition. We are an advisory plan. We do not rezone. So for everyone here, you got to understand, we do not do the rezone. We just give a favorable, a not favorable, or no recommendation at all. So the rezone will come, the commissioners do the final rezone. So all we do is a recommendation. So just to let you know, we will move on. We have before we open the public portion of the hearing, we have a request for continuance of a rezone. Is anyone here who would like to speak on behalf of that request that signed the request? Yeah, just come up and whoever wants to, one of you, just come up and speak on it.
We submitted that continuance because,
What's your name?
Alec Willis,
And we need your address.
2990 West Broadery Lane in Monrovia, Indiana.
Okay, go ahead.
We'd like a continuance because, quite frankly, the amount of time that we've had isn't enough time to bring valuable input to put in front of you guys who are expected to make the decision on whether or not it'd be a good idea to recommend. That's what I have to say about it.
Ms. Parker, will you come up to the mic, please? Put on that one. Was all the notifications done per Indiana code?
Yes, all the notification was provided according to state statute and to the Plan Commission's rules and procedures.
Okay. That included the newspaper?
Correct.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, the floor is open for discussion, whether to accept the petition or not to accept the petition.
continue with the public hearing for rezone petition PUD 2503.
We have a motion to continue with the hearing. Do we have a second?
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. We will continue with the meeting. We'll go to new business. This will open our public portion of the meeting. It's public hearing on rezone petition PUD 2503. Joe Calderon, on behalf of HDC Real Estate LLC and Woodland Caribou LLC, is seeking approval to rezone approximately 158 acres from Ag to PUD. The area included in the proposed PUD contains 120 acres on the north side of Keller Hill Road and 38 acres south side of Keller Hill Road. The address for this petition is generally referred to as 1570 West Keller Hill Road in Monroe Township. Mr. Calderon, please state your name and your address for us, please.
Thank you, Mr. Brock. Members of the Plan Commission, my name is Joe Calderon. I am an attorney representing the co-applicants in this matter, and my office is at 11 South Meridian. Can we get the PowerPoint loaded up?
He's just gonna click.
If you bear with us just for a second so we can, there we go. Am I just scrolling down the? Okay. Okay, thank you. When I first started, we didn't do PowerPoints. We did everything via handouts. Yes, exactly. Thank you. My office is located at 11 South Meridian, Indianapolis, Indiana. You may remember that I presented Project Louis Phase 1, which was 2025 PUD 1 last winter. So here we are a number of months later, and we are presenting to you PUD number 3 for the year. And this entails 158 acres. A chunk of it is located on to the south of Keller Hill Road and is adjacent to the acreage that we rezoned to PUD back in February. And the other acreage is just to the north of Keller Hill Road, and you can see it crosshatched. Here's a map that is, well, let's see, did I advance it too far?
On page 6.
Yeah, do you mind? Thank you.
Yeah, let the young guy do it.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. This PUD, everybody talks about it just being for a data center, and the primary use that we have defined within the PUD is for data center use. So for those of members of the audience or Plan Commission members that don't remember, a data center really is reflective of everything that we do today with our devices, whether our laptops, our phones, videos, etc. That's essentially what a data center does. It collects and stores that type of information to help make our lives move forward in a technological age. In essence, they are warehouse-type structures with lots of servers and other IT equipment within them. They don't spew a lot of industrial-type characteristics, and we think that this is again, appropriate for this area, which is in a high-intensity growth area under your comprehensive plan. Go ahead and advance. This location has actually significant transmission lines that run through it, much like the ground in PUD 1. In fact, our client was introduced to this area via relationship with AES because data centers, as you know from reading or hearing testimony at the last hearing, do require significant energy, significant power. So we also are very cognizant of the fact that we can't just throw a dart at a dartboard and expect you as Plan Commission members or the commissioners to say, just rezone whatever you want, wherever you want. There is a science behind it, and that includes, amongst other things that you will consider tonight as you make and ponder your recommendation, the comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan is a document that you adopted just a few years ago. It has certain areas that are identified for growth and development opportunities, and this is within one of those areas. Specifically, it's in a high-intensity area, as well as a portion of the site is in Area A, which is called to provide for significant economic growth opportunities. One thing that you will hear from your staff, from Ms. Parker, is that as she looked at the site and in conjunction with the comprehensive plan in Area A, all the I-70 growth is very close by. In fact, this site to the north of Keller Hill is within a quarter mile of land that's already zoned planned business for future growth within Hendricks County. So this is not outside of a area that's already growing outside your jurisdiction, and we think that this matches exactly what the growth area A and high intensity plan portions of your comprehensive plan contemplate. Go ahead and go to the next one. As you can see in the blue, these are the areas that we are proposing to rezone. The purple to the south and surrounding area is what was PUD 1 from earlier this year. Go ahead and go to the next. One of the things that we are presenting to you tonight is within the ordinance itself, within the document that we filed with your staff, with the planning department, are the standards that take place in the PUD. We are not changing anything from PUD 1, which meets or significantly exceeds all of the standards contained within your ordinance that would otherwise be applicable to I-1 use. So, in certain circumstances, we're tripling the setback from 50 feet minimum to 150 feet. We have, as you can see in that table, significant ability to increase standards from 20 feet to 50 feet for side and rear yard setbacks as well. Next slide, please. One of the things that we feel is important to be good neighbors, and when we're developing a site like this and we're saying, well, what are we going to do within our setbacks? Within the 150-yard setback, you can see to the left a diagram of significant berming and mounding that will take place to provide visual screen as well as screening from, as well as noise mitigation as well. You can see the berm height, which isn't completely figured out, is anticipated to be 10 to 15 feet in height, and you can see the landscaping that would be placed on top of that. This will not look like a prison. We will not have barbed wire surrounding the exterior of the site. It will be much more like ranch fencing or farm fencing, very tasteful in that regard. You can see the green areas fronting on Keller Hill Road that provide those 150-foot buffer yards. Next slide. One of the things that we carried forward and put into the ordinance, and this is from also featured in the PUD 1, there was a lot of concern about noise, so we did put in a maximum of 65 decibels at the property line, same as what was approved by the commissioners and received your favorable recommendation from last time. Next slide. This kind of gives you a chart as to what 65 decibels sounds like, and keep in mind, and this was certainly questioning that took place last time, that the 65 decibels is kind of our worst case scenario when there is the hottest day of the year and everything's running at full cooling capacity. It's really generated by the cooling mechanism. So it's not an everyday 65, 24/7 type of occurrence. The other thing that we wanted to share with you this evening is kind of the visual impact, and we do a series of existing conditions and future conditions. This is the site at, it's looking southwest, and that's the existing condition today. This is what it'll look like in the future after installation of the berm and plantings. Next slide, which is the view looking northeast. And we can go to the future condition. You can see how the berming and the fencing.
Folks, if you will reserve your comments until it's time for public comment.
Provides for a very nice screen from the buildings. Yes.
Everyone, please keep your comments down, please. It's their turn to talk. We won't let him interrupt you during your turn. So please keep your comments down. Okay, Joe, go ahead.
So, in summary, and again, we're very grateful to have your planning staff's positive recommendation for tonight. If you can go to the next slide, please. This contains the same standards that we provided in PUD 1, which we believe provides significant protections for adjoining owners, for the community to address visual concerns, addresses noise concerns as well. We have the same buffer standards, the same noise standards, and most importantly for your discussion and consideration tonight, this is in the same high-intensity, high growth area A, or at least a portion of it, that's set forth in your comprehensive plan. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions. I do have Matt Stipula from the civil engineering firm that is also available to answer any specific engineering questions you may have. Thank you so much.
Joe, Mr. Conrad, you stated AES is the one that brought you to this site?
Yes.
Okay. So,
Yes, all of these things kind of filtered down from, first, the state adopted a series of statutes several years ago to encourage this type of development. Second, the other components that lead you to more specific sites are obviously your power and your other utilities. So power being probably the most significant one. So this was an AES area of interest because of their high transmission lines, 345 transmission line running through the site.
that one comes out of Petersburg. Is that true?
I don't know if it comes out of the Petersburg
I think it does.
generation
I think it comes out of
or not,
Petersburg.
but yeah, it could. Yeah.
Okay. No, no.
Anything else from Plan Commission members at this time?
Has the height of the buildings been established on the one that's already being built?
We've put in a maximum of 75 feet. Nothing's been built to 75 feet, Mr. Crone, to date. However, the buildings do change in terms of their design from time to time, probably more frequently than you or I might contemplate as we sit here tonight, all to create buildings that are more efficient. It's all about efficiency in that regard. So don't think we'll need all the 75 feet, but we did put it in the first PUD, and we do have it as a feature of the second. And I believe the buildings in the example photos that we showed do reflect the tallest building, 75 feet. Is that right, Matt? I believe those are at 60 feet.
Any other questions? No? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Matthew Stifel, you would like to speak, or?
No, I'm available if there's any questions, but
Any questions for their engineer? No? All right, thank you. We will move on. And per our procedures of hearings, since we have a large number of people wishing to speak, under item C of our procedures of hearings, it says that we can hold those to 3 minutes, so you'll have 3 minutes to speak. Since there's a large number that wants to speak, we've got a timer up front, and it won't start till I tell them to start your timer. So when you come up and talk and give us your name and such, it won't be part of your 3 minutes. So when I ask you to sit down, please sit down, and let's keep civil and do the best we can with this. So we'll move on to, where's my file? Give it to Melody. Mr. Ploy will announce your name. Please come up, state your name and your address when you do.
Bruce McLean.
Good evening. My name is Bruce McLean. My wife and daughter and I live at 1360 West Keller Hill Road, across the road and next to the proposed data center. My daughter Rachel is developmentally delayed and has autistic tendencies. My wife and I are concerned how the noise and vibration from the cooling fans, the diesel generators, and the vibrations from the very large electrical transformers will affect her. Now, you've heard about water usage. It has been stated that data center buildings will use from 1 to 3 million gallons of water per day. No one has stated in writing where or how they will be getting this water. Over 100 homes in the immediate area are on wells. These homes will not be livable if they do not have water. The Indiana DNR has laws about large wells destroying small residential wells. Has anyone thought this through and how it will affect these families? The other point with water is what is going to be done with the wastewater from this site. Also, what is going to be done with the water runoff after a large rainfall? Traffic. I live on Keller Hill Road. Currently, the road has 8 signs from the time you break the county line to State Road 42 that says, no trucks. We were told less than a year ago by the petitioner, that being the folks building this thing, that Keller Hill Road would only be a construction entrance and close after completion. Now it will become a main entrance to the property. Keller Hill Road at State Road 39 will also be the main entrance to 3 of the largest warehouses that are going to be built in the industrial center that he clearly pointed out that's down the road. Think about all that traffic. This information was supplied to me by the Hendricks County Commissioners at the meeting about the warehouses. Did anyone plan for this? Property values for homes bordering the data center will collapse. If the wells are destroyed in this area, these homes cannot be sold unless the well water is functional. Placement of the electrical substation. Currently, Indianapolis Power and Light owns 40 acres at the corner of State Road 42 and West Union Road. This area is directly under the high-tension power line that you talk about. These lines, which will be supplying power to the data center when they build their substation. If they move that substation to that property, the two buildings that you're showing on the proposed site could be moved back over to the sections you've already agreed upon. In closing, I am asking the commissioners to vote for the people living in this area that are going to be affected as the buyer put it in writing, what is going to be done about the water, the wastewater, as well as traffic on Keller Hill Road. Thank you.
Hey, if you please hold your applause to the end, if you would, so we can get through this.
Jeff Beasley? Jeff Beasley?
Fine, all right.
Passes. Janice Bacon?
Well, I had a prepared speech, but I'm going to add a few things. Thank you for meeting the letter of the law and notifying the citizens of this meeting, and nothing more.
State your address for us. It's all right.
Remember to state your name. Janice Bacon, Monrovia, Indiana, 46157. So thank you. Thank you for notifying us, hey. And then the other thing I want to say in response to this guy is the fact that so few of you on this board have any questions indicates you either don't care, you've already made up your mind, or you've met with the developer privately, and who knows what happened then. That's frustrating. But now I'll go to the prepared stuff. Well, there is one thing that's abundantly obvious tonight. The Morgan County government has finally gotten their constituents involved and active. None of us really want to be here, really, pleading for a response from these members of this board and the council and the commissioners. I understand that our county government may have backed themselves and you and all of us into a corner. And here we sit in a corner. This situation may have caused the county to deny a change of zoning to a family because it did not meet the comprehensive plan. This just happened at a BZA meeting. Again, yet, here you are now contemplating rezoning another 150 plus acres that do not fit within the comprehensive plan. As constituents, we expect and should expect an even playing field, honest responses, genuine outreach, and no more backdoor deals. To continue to pursue these zoning changes without outreach to your stakeholders is disrespectful of the process, harmful to your communities, and likely unlawful. There is a chance here to do the right thing for your friends, for your neighbors, for your constituents. At least take some time and reach out, openly discuss your processes, and show us that you are really here to represent us, protect us, and respect us.
Lori Choate.
Oh, does that mean my time is up? Good evening. And thank you for allowing me to speak. My name's Lori Choate. I live in Monrovia, Indiana, 46157. We are here tonight because of the proposal to expand the amount of valuable farmland being taken in order to bring a massive data center into our community. These projects are often advertised as progress, but the truth is that the costs and risks are mainly on us, the community, while the benefits flow to the corporations headquartered elsewhere. You have already heard about the huge strain on the electric grid, and you'll hear more tonight, so I'm not going to touch much on that. But I am concerned about the millions of gallons of water that is used each day for these data centers. Has anyone even thought about where that water is going to come from? I live in Monrovia, and we do not even have live water hydrants. So where is all this water going to come from? Second, we cannot ignore the growing conversation about powering data centers with nuclear reactors. On paper, nuclear may look clean, but history tells us otherwise. Have we forgotten Chernobyl, Fukushima, 3 Mile Island? Were you guys around when those things happened? Each was called safe, and each was said to be highly unlikely to cause problems. And yet, when disaster struck, communities were uprooted, lands were ruined, and families paid the price for generations. In fact, they're still paying the price. We're still paying the price for Fukushima. Do you want to invite that risk into our own backyard? Air quality is another concern of mine. The Biden administration did a study 2019 to 23 on air quality reports for data centers. And even though they said that they showed some progress, they warn about industrial emissions and diesel generators because they use a fleet of diesel backup generators that are known to release toxic chemicals into the air and require constant truck traffic going back and forth to the data center. We already have a lot of truck traffic at 39 and 42 right now. It's a mess. And we have a brand new overpass that is going to bear the brunt of that. Perhaps the most personal issue for me is our property value. As a 30-plus year real estate broker in Indianapolis, I have seen sharp declines in neighborhood home prices when industrial commercial facilities are placed too close to residential homes. Families in other communities near data centers report steep home value declines. And why wouldn't they? Who wants to invest their life savings into a house next to a giant windowless fortress? Oh, I have one more thing that's very important. Can I just say one more thing? I went to San Antonio a couple weeks ago to visit my sister, and we went to some data centers there. They're really small ones, and they emitted a loud noise just on the really small ones, constant hum. And there was one that was 20 years old. When their tax abatement ran out, they vacated it, and now it's left as a vacant building.
Tristan Pratt. Tristan Pratt.
He's coming. He's coming.
My name is Tristan Pratt. I live at 4449 Blue Bluff Road here in Martinsville. I'm a water resources engineer for a lot of our neighboring municipalities, and data center seems a much bigger step than our rural communities are used to taking, and I've seen the effects of taking a big step like this and falling and ending up in a lot of debt for a long time and struggling to keep the water and the lights on consistently. Apart from all the issues mentioned by our other neighbors here, it just seems like an aggressively optimistic step without a lot of mitigation planned. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mel.
Susan Swartout. Alec Willis.
Alec Willis, I live in Monrovia, Indiana, 46157. First of all, here's a list of 1,400 verified signatures. 800 of them are in Kenny Hale's district, who I notice is noticeably absent today. So there's that. I wanted to give a shout out to everyone behind me who has met the moment and taken a stand. Just, I think maybe everybody in here opposes it besides these two right here. Today is a big day for Morgan County, along with everyone who uses AES, IPL, Citizens Water, local wells, and other local resources. It's a big day for democracy within our local government, along with free market principles. We have poured our hearts out, as most of us blue-collar workers, some of us retired, into engaging our community about this and showing the will of a people to the government that if it functioned how it claimed, we'll walk out of here and you guys will be voting no. But we're gonna see if it functions how it claims. The expansion of this data center is not the best use of this land. It's important to understand from the beginning it was never a free market deal. When unelected bureaucrats, like the Morgan County Economic Development Corporation, use up tax dollars to steer private deals into plowing right through the comprehensive plan. This plan was adopted after exhaustive public input as a legally informed blueprint designed to protect all property owners and to prevent precisely this kind of piecemeal erosion of land use vision. And that's why we elect commissioners, to protect that land use vision. The county's previous justification for the initial rezoning claimed it was a fine-tuned exception. But now here we are on phase 2, which exposes that as a thin veil for endless concessions. What about property values? Studies show a decline of 10 to 20% within a couple miles of these, unless it's a huge cluster and thousands of acres, which bring 4,000 to 8,000 jobs. That's not a boom. What about jobs? It'll bring a small, permanent handful well below the industry average for $1 billion investment. What about development? A senior AES power quality manager said that if we go through with this, it will stunt future development in Morgan County while IPL and AES catch up to energy demand, which, by the way, state law says we pay for that. What about environmental? The comprehensive plan commits to protecting agricultural lands and natural resources with explicit goals to minimize impervious surfaces and preserve watersheds, yet this expansion does the opposite. Dustin Fry says that data centers are coming whether we like it or not. Well, if that's what our founding fathers believed in, we'd all be here speaking with British accents. This rezoning is going to trample on the liberty of residents who rely on these plans that we put in place to safeguard their property and way of life. Please vote no on this. And if you'd like to vote yes, please show up to a debate on Thursday night at Monrovia Festival Building and prove me wrong.
Katie Ford. Gary Potter. Gary?
He's coming.
Gary Potter, 1130 West Willow Run Court. I'm very concerned about violation of trust with this committee. They core drilled this property at the same time they core drilled the other property back in January. So they had a phase 2 in mind and they kept it from you? Or did you know? Violation of trust. Is there a phase 3? Why piecemeal it? Why not just tell us what it is at the beginning? Why are they manipulating you? Why are they manipulating me? During the 210 meeting, you guys told us a lot about your knowledge of this process and how you're going to recommend moving forward. First thing the member said was, I have not been read on this, can we table it? The second member said, it's in the preliminary stage, can we table it? Third member says, I don't know how much tax we will get out of this, but I'm thinking it's greater than 390 acres of farmland. And then the fourth member said, you can fill this property full of houses. I don't know how many houses you could get in there and not get the revenue you can get from this one project. Violation of trust if you made a recommendation to move forward and not have an understanding of the revenue we're gonna get out of this project. Later on, a bunch of things were said that were ridiculous, but one guy talked about new water technology that cools water for reuse. You mean a cooling tower? What is this new knowledge of water reclaiming that you know of that we don't? One member speculated they could use geothermal stuff. What is geothermal stuff? That's a violation of trust. One speculated about the property values. Well, before the announcement, Keller Hill Heights subdivision had a house, 1061 Willow Run, had no updates, original carpeting, original parquet, sold for $241 a square foot. After the announcement, 1081 Wildflower sold for $157 a square foot, 1035 sold for $162 a square foot. You guys, that recommendation cost me about $120,000 in equity. This is real. It's a violation of trust. One member talked about $500 billion in federal government's hoping some money might come to you. Google took that money. Meta took that money. There's nobody in the board of directors of Google saying, oh, don't forget, we got to give $10 million to Morgan County. They don't care about us. One member said that this would lower our taxes. Shame on you. You don't know that to be factual. You don't know that to be realistic. It's a violation of trust. One member said the typical data center is millions and millions, if not billions of dollars of investment. Which is it? A couple million or a billion? You're missed it by $998 million of uninformed decision-making. One member said, we're gonna have to figure out where to get the water from. As an advisory board, how do you recommend moving this property to change its zoning when you don't even know where the water's coming from? Many of you actually said we don't have the answers. I'd argue you didn't have any of the answers.
I can't really read the last name for this one. Sandy Carlisle, I'm guessing. You'll have to help me. Are you coming forward, Sandy? Okay, we'll pass to the next person then. Michael Massey.
My name is Michael Massey. I live at 790 Walnut Grove Road, Martinsville, Indiana, 47151. I have two questions. The first question is, like the last man was talking about, where in Sam Hill are we going to get the water? We don't have that kind of water source. Every one of you people know that. We don't have 2 to 3 million gallons of water per day. We don't have a river where they can get the water. We have nothing like this. You're going to drain the wells all over that area. You're going to take all the system water out. That's totally destructive. The second thing I want to know is this. Who's actually buying this land, sir? I'm asking you. You know the answer, but you won't give it to us, will you? You know. You say it's a data center,
Hey, sir,
but they blacked that out on Google.
you need to address us.
I asked him.
So-
He's the one that knows the answer, not you.
I know, but you're talking.
He knows the answer, not you, sir. We have a right to know who's actually buying this property. I'm talking to you now.
Hey, calm down, sir.
I want to know.
We're giving your time, calm down.
You're
Address
taking my
us.
time. You're going to give it back to me?
No, but we're
Then
addressing.
shut up.
Sit down, sir.
No.
Sit down.
I want to know who the company is that's going to take this property. Who's the owner?
Come on, sir.
Who's the owner? Don't want to tell us, do you? You don't want to tell us either, do you?
Everyone, we need to be civil here. We need to.
Marlene, and I again apologize, I believe it's McVeigh, Marlene McVeigh. I can't quite read your handwriting. Marlene, is there a Marlene in the room that wishes to speak? Marlene? No, Marlene? We'll pass then. Carol Dunphy?
Hello, good evening. My name is Carol Dunphy. I live outside of Morgantown, Indiana, and I agree with everything that's been said by my neighbors, and I really appreciate the passion. I don't think it's out of line to have passion and to feel like you're going to lose your water, you're going to lose your land, you're going to lose your value, you're going to use your family. What are you going to do? But I'm just here to say, just a quick comment, there are no regulations on artificial intelligence. And we all know this data center is for artificial intelligence. It's clicking our doomsday clock to a greater level. We're only 89 seconds away between climate change, nuclear, and artificial intelligence. So we're going full steam ahead, the cart before the horse, to our own detriment, to our own extinction. Why are we doing this even? I'm Carol Dunphy.
Chris Green. Chris Green.
I had some questions, and I've kind of changed a couple of them here. My name's Chris Green. I live about halfway between Mooresville and Monrovia, 46158, and I'm about a mile from the data center property. I guess the first thing was, when I got involved with this is a list of questions I put together. And I found it very odd that in sitting here today that there was one question asked by this council about what this project was. Now, either A, I assume you all know, or B, I'm pretty much sure you really don't know. So I got a couple questions here. I'm going to talk about noise, because I've got questions that include power, water, noise, lighting, structures, construction, etc. The noise that's going to be emitted from the project. You state in the proposal that it's going to be 65 dB. I went out and measured at the site today with a sound level meter the background noise at the site of 47 dB. That being the case, several dB between there and 65, almost 20. And I figure you are aware that a 3 dB increase in noise is perceived by the human ear as twice as loud. So, projects that I've been on, and I will introduce myself as being an engineer. I have been for 40 years, worked in the utility industry. I've sited power plants, I've worked on power plant construction. So I'm familiar with heavy construction, which this is going to be. When we sited a plant, we had to do a background noise survey prior to awarding zoning or getting zoning awarded to us for a plant. Then we had to meet a required amount dB increase, generally 3 to 5 dB above that background noise. Not just taking, oh, it's going to be 65 dB, here you go, like it. My second question also concerns the fact that generally these data centers have a large abundance of diesel generators. Probably some of the ones I've looked at from aerial photos, incidentally on Google, by the way, have had 65, 50, 75 individual diesel generators on site. Is that noise included in the 65, or since it's emergency generation, is it above that? And they're saying, oh, well, we're sorry, we've got to run the emergency generators. Those are the questions. I guess the other thing that I'm looking at here is, cooling towers and water usage. I've heard some people say 2 to 3 million, 1 to 2 million gallons. We've been told 5 million. So how do you justify the water usage? Simply, how do you justify the water usage? How do you justify the noise? How do you justify the additional generation to support these sites and the greenhouse gases that are going to be generated by the diesels and by combustion turbines or by whatever else AES deems correct to install to support these plants? And one other thing, if any of you would like to talk, if any of you would like to sit down and discuss technicalities, I would be happy to sit and talk with you about it.
Laura Johnson?
Laura Johnson? No Laura Johnson? Okay, come on up.
Make sure you pull the mic down. You got to talk directly into it, okay?
I think I'm short. Are you cutting me short already?
You're good.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm Laura Johnson. I'm from Monrovia, Indiana. I've grown up here and lived here all my life, and my question is, who's protecting the rural communities? Stupid as this sounds, would you build a lighthouse in Oklahoma? No. So I'd like to know why you build a data center in the middle of the country. We've seen Greenwood, Avon, Plainfield, all slowly expanding. Once you build a building, it's just a matter of time before it becomes 2, then 4, then 8, and suddenly we have no more rural area. And that is my biggest fear. While this data center gets a 30-year tax break, who's going to pay the homeowners when their property values drop? And who's going to pay the residents when all of a sudden their health is affected and they have major health bills? That's what I say.
Thank you.
Jeannie Ite. Is Jeannie Ite in the room?
She's coming.
I got one more there. Hey, Jeannie.
Hi, I'm Jeannie I, Canby, Indiana, 46113, northeast corner of Morgan County, Madison Township. Although this proposed data center would not be in my backyard, I feel for all of these people because it could happen in the northeast corner where I am. And what I'm wondering is, as you sit and listen to all these people, would this center affect any of you? Would it be in your backyards? Because a 7-story building, 75 feet, can you imagine the ugliness, what that would look like sitting there in this beautiful, now existing farmland? 7 stories. That's unbelievable to see that massive structure coming out of the farmland. I hate to see that happen, and I hope that you all feel the same way, because I bet any of you are not sitting next to that property and look out your living room window or sit on your back patio and look at that building. Do you all live there? Are you in that area? I want to know. Anyone? Okay. That's it.
Carrie.
Thank you.
Carrie Zeislow. Carrie Zeislow.
Good afternoon. I'm Carrie Socello, and I live in Martinsville, 5664 Herbie-Mont Road, Martinsville, Indiana. I'm very happy to see you all tonight because I was just in front of this board not too long ago. My husband and I came to this board because we had a neighbor at 5600 Herbie-Mont Road who wanted to open and operate a shooting range on his property, and our property being the backstop of his shooting range. Because of your comprehensive plan and the things that you all like to protect for us Morgan County rural folks, you voted no. I think it was 5-0. You voted no because it would negatively impact our community. In fact, you said that there was like 187 years of people residing near my home that said, absolutely not, we do not want to live by a shooting range. And you all said no to that. You voted 5-0 no. So I want to know, by living in this rural area that I live in and I cherish, and I run local business in Monrovia, I live in Morgan County, I run local business in Cloverdale. I want to know how it is different for the people that I care about in this room, my neighbors. How is it different for them with the same comprehensive plan when just a few months ago you said no, 5-0, absolutely not, because it's dangerous, because it's noisy, because it disrupts their rural life. You said no. But you're gonna think about saying yes, and I can tell you why, because you're being bought out. That's why. So I just, seriously, your face is very familiar, Mr. Bill Rumbaugh, Mr. Dustin Fry, Mr. Terry Brock, and Mr. Jason Maxwell. You voted no to the property owner at 5600 Herbie-Mont Road to run and operate a shooting range because it endangered my family and my community. So I want to know today why you would vote yes and put my neighbors in the possibility of selling their home, losing the value of their home. Their sunsets are taken away by a 65-foot building. This is not okay. This is not rural Morgan County. If we want to do something for rural Morgan County, we can think about your comprehensive plan where you talk about we have water problems, what we're going to do to fix the water problems. We have housing shortages. What are we going to do to fix the housing shortages? We have employment issues. Google's not bringing us employment. So I need to know today, how did you vote no for me and keep my husband and I safe, but you may vote yes for all these people in this room? It can't happen. I ask you to say no.
Dan Machino. Dan Machino. Michelle Higgs. Higgs.
Hi, my name is Michelle Higgs. I actually live in Bloomington, part of House District 60, and I'm here in the capacity of living in House District 60. My parents actually retired. They lived across the street on Main Street. And in 2017, I worked with several people in this room door knocking about water toxins. So water is very, very important to me. And I echo this room on why are we doing something that would harm the water. But more importantly, I want to speak to the fact that we have at a federal level what they call an AI arms race, and they've targeted Indiana. And then we have a state legislature here that has given favorable terms of tax abatements that has actually caused harm to the local government. And the bill just keeps passing down. And so then here, what we're hearing is, Monrovia, you are going to be the sacrificial lamb for what we need for Morgan County. And the bill just keeps passing, and it keeps passing down. And what we actually need is our local governments to stand up and listen to the people and listen to the questions they are asking and ask those questions and get those answers and be the champion for what we need. We need good investment. We talk about better businesses in Indiana. We need better businesses, and we need to stop what feels very, very much like major corporations with a lot of money coming in and looking at Indiana and going, well, we can't put it in Franklin and we can't put it here, but we can certainly put it in Morgan County. And so I'm standing in solidarity with this room and my neighbors and my friends to say, please be a champion, ask the hard questions, and fight for your constituents. Thank you.
Diane Thrawley. Okay. Carl Gilbert, I believe. Carl Gilbert? Two more on this page.
My name is Carl Gilbert. I reside at 554 West State Road 42 in Monrovia, an eighth of a mile from the data center. Today I stand before you because I care deeply about the future of Monrovia, Morgan County, and the well-being of our families, neighbors, and community. If you guys remember a few short 9 months ago, I stood right here and asked you guys the simple but important question: where does it stop? At that time, I pointed out there are hundreds of acres surrounding the proposal, and I questioned how far would this go. Nothing was ever answered. Now, just months later, with that 150 acres that I questioned 9 months ago is once again up for vote. Again, I ask, where does it stop? Because from what I've heard, this is not the end. I know others that have been sought out for stage 4. What is even more, now, no one has given us a clear plan on how this will affect us long term, how it will affect our wells, light bills, pollution, and property values. And if it does, what is the protection from us? What will the county do for us if this does happen? What's even more troubling is on a news channel, a commissioner has been quoted as saying, "This project is a done deal." By making this statement, a clear message has been sent to the very people who voted you into office that you do not care about our voices, our concerns, and our quality of life. This is not representation. This is not leadership. That is dictatorship. Let us remember something very important. Our founding fathers were great men. They accomplished the extraordinary in building this nation, but they also knew the undeniable truth that all great men make mistakes. That is why they left room in our Constitution for correction so that errors could be addressed and then justice remedied. I hope our commissioners and elected officials will hold themselves to the same standard. That if the information that you've been given about this project is wrong and the effects proven more severe than expected, that we will have the humility and wisdom to correct your course of action, which forcing us to live in permanent damage. I'm not against growth and I'm not against progress, but I am against rushing to a decision. We, the people of Monrovia and Morgan County, deserve transparency. We deserve true collaboration with our officials from all county positions with the town of Monrovia and not hiding this agenda. We, the people of Monrovia and Morgan County, are the ones bearing the burden of this project, then we deserve to share the benefits financially and otherwise, not just the county. We also need to demand answers and why the water solution that has been going on and the rumors that the current commissioners are working to approve a deal with the data center to use the future Hendricks County wastewater, which is going to be built instead of Monrovia's. If that is true, not only would we be left with the risk and burdens of this project, but our own county is selling us out and giving away that revenue right here in Morgan County to Hendricks County. Thank you.
Heather Queeby? Pass, you're passing. Kathy Pickerel? You're passing?
Pass.
Okay. Samantha Trustee?
Hello, my name is Samantha Trustee, 4426 East Dayhuff Road, Mooresville. This situation feels as though Morgan County Economic Development Corporation put a price on our natural resources and fertile farmland and sold it to the highest bidder, probably Google, without considering the health of our citizens and the sustainability of our economy as a whole. Families and local businesses are already paying more on their utility bills because of data centers in Indiana. Here in Morgan County, not only do the citizens not want this data center, they were never invited to the table to help decide how to revitalize the economy. That matters because you were elected to represent the people, not your own interests. Tonight, you have a chance to reverse the mistake made by the commissioners and represent us, the people of Morgan County. This data center, codenamed Project Louis, is extractive and exploitative. It pulls immense amounts of water, energy, and farmland, all to create artificial intelligence. It puts money above people, money above the environment, and money above the future of our children. Three things that representatives who represent their citizens do not promote. Now is not the time to defer responsibility. I'm just following orders is not a valid excuse for a decision this big. The truth is simple. Water is for people, for wildlife, for plants, for life, not for servers. We cannot sacrifice the resources that sustain us, our food, our water, our air, just so Google or some other giant company can show higher profits to investors. If this project is allowed, future generations will look back and ask why we gave away what made our county livable for nothing in return. I urge you, deny this rezoning, preserve agricultural land, and develop in ways actually beneficial to Morgan County. Protect our resources, represent the people's voice, not corporate interests. Thank you.
Nancy Machino, I might be mispronouncing that. Is there Nancy in the room?
She passed.
Pass. Janice Weddle.
Aye.
My name's Janice Weddle, 1729 West State Road 42, Mooresville. First, I'm going to say
Mic down a little bit.
what one senator said about the data center in Franklin. Congratulations to the people in Indianapolis for fighting back against a huge Google data center that would have raised electric bills and used massive amounts of fresh water. The function of new technology must be improved human life, not just to make billionaires even richer. This was said by one of the U.S. senators of the United States. But I'm also here because we live across the street. We have a daughter that's been blind since birth. You don't think the noise is much, but to her, it will drive her nuts. A person that's been blind since birth, their hearing is 10 times of our hearing. Low frequency noises can interfere with their mind, their cardiovascular, their equilibrium, and this is in their brain all the time. And there's nothing we can do about it. But there is something you guys can do about it. You can say no to this and start thinking about people that might have disabilities that you never ever thought about that are living next to that data center. Thank you.
Thank you.
Washington. Dorian Patkus. I'll give you the paper.
My name is Dorian Patkus. I live at 2855 2855 Morgan Trail, Martinsville 46151. And I have a lot of questions about your decision. I don't understand why everything was so secret. Evidently, the company behind this had you sign something, or other people involved in this deal signed something that said they couldn't talk about it. So nobody in this room got a heads up on what was planned. And I think that would have upset a lot of people. What is this project going to do to the property owners in that area? They've invested their lives in their homes, in their farms. They have agreements with their bankers to pay off these properties. What's it going to do to their property value? The water is of real concern. Have you seen some of the videos on dewatering when they construct these? What's it going to do to our aquifers, the groundwater? The pollution that comes with diesel generators puts particulates in the air that can cause real respiratory problems, especially in children. And these problems can last for their lifetimes. So I really wonder if people have thought about this and how it's going to affect the people who live nearby. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Rebecca Coffey.
She's coming.
Okay, my name's Rebecca Coffey. I live in Monrovia. Nowhere in the history of industry has it ever been a safe practice to place industrial byproducts near any living thing. And in the history of humanity, it has never been safe or moral to poison food production or people. If you need another extensive study to tell you putting this data center here near generational farms, agribusinesses, neighborhoods, schools, you are dishonoring that share. And we are not the stupid ones. I keep on hearing you guys say we're stupid. I know the lure of big business dollars is tempting. If this had actually been a good idea, there would have been flyers in everyone's mailbox telling us about the wonderful job you're doing. Instead, this was fostered behind closed doors and quiet, so we had little or no time to react. Again, I say, we don't need another study to tell us what we already know. This data center will suck up millions of gallons of water a day. They will add a corrosive inhibitor, and it will belch out most of this into the sky, where 80% or so will evaporate. Eventually, it will reach the stratosphere. It will coalesce and come down on us in the form of acid rain because fossil fuels run the turbines, unless it's going to be nuclear powered. It has been proven again and again that acid rain is detrimental to everyone and everything. In closing, to those who want to sue us for protesting any part of this, I say it's our God-given right to protect ourselves. And to the woman who I spoke to on the phone who told me she would have no problem living next to a data center, I challenge you to do just that. Live next to a data center for a year. You should be able to find one up and running by now. They're trying this on everyone across the country. Housing should be cheap because of the drop in property values. Now, you might have to hoard water to flush your toilet, but I don't advise drinking any of it. Also, watch out for those utility bills because they're going to be killers. Thank you.
Dana Stevens. Christopher Lamberson.
Christopher Lamberson, Monrovia, Indiana, 445 North Chestnut Street. I don't see where Mike Dillinger went. He's supposed to be revitalizing our economy, but he seems to have left early. So I would like to say when this project was first proposed, it may have seemed like a good deal for Morgan County to generate more tax revenue than corn and soy was, but it's now clear that with more of the details that have come out, that this data center will not enrich our county, it will instead drain it. This PUD is located in an economic revitalization area. You can confidently not recommend this PUD because it is not economic revitalization. Let's talk economics. First, utility rates. Data centers require massive amounts of energy, electricity, and water, and those costs are not absorbed by Google. They are passed on to us. That is why they chose this area. State law allows for it. Families and local businesses will pay more on their monthly bills because of this development. Second, property values. Across the county, studies show data centers bring down nearby property values. Who wants to buy a home or invest in land near a 500-acre resource-guzzling server farm? That means a weaker tax base for our schools and our public services. Third, infrastructure. Roads, power lines, substations, and water delivery systems must all be upgraded to serve this data center. Google is not paying taxes. They negotiated tax abatements and pilot payments. Payment in lieu of taxes. Why not just pay taxes? It's because they know they can use this payment to build infrastructure for their data center. It's exploitative. Let's not forget the larger picture. This data center is only because of this AI bubble. AI needs larger databases than simply our phone and computers. It's not true that this is for our phone and computers, Calderon. This data center is for an industry that's built on speculation and hype, not on stable and proven returns that many other industries could provide us on 550 acres with an AES power line running to it. There's better business for our county. Why should Morgan County sacrifice its water, farmland, and future for an experiment that may collapse when the bubble bursts? This is classic boom and bust economics, where they come to exploit the resources, get their profit, and ditch town. So let's be clear, this is Google coming to exploit us. They get the profits, we get the costs. But here's the good news. The Plan Commission and the commissioners still have a chance to fix this mistake. I understand that this may have seemed what was right in the beginning, but it is now clear that it is not. So please do not fall for the sunken cost fallacy. No construction has begun. This is not a done deal.
Let's work to find a resolution that does not result in a data center. Let's find better business. We are asking the commissioners to come out and discuss with the people. I invite Mike Dillinger and the Economic Development Corporation. Let's find actual revitalizing business. There's no better time than now. Do not recommend this rezone, protect Morgan County, and choose a future that truly benefits the people that you represent. Thank you.
Mark Kanowski. Mark Kanowski.
Good evening. My name is Mark Kanowski. I live on North Pennington Road in Mooresville, Indiana. I have an observation and a question. So my observation is I downloaded an app and the decibel level of this meeting is above 80 on average. Just to put it in perspective to the 65 that they're talking about this going to be at. It would surprise me if that's actually the case. Now my question. What recourse are we as residents going to have should 65 decibels not be met? Should our water be taken by the data center? And this is not a rhetorical question. I'd like some sort of answer from you about what recourse do we have for these problems that are going to arise? Are you going to take us into a plan without having considered the consequences?
You address it. It is the way the process works.
It is. We'll answer your questions. We'll ask the representative to answer your question for you.
Thank you.
Susan Utley. Sharon Hart.
My name is Sharon Hart, address 10956 North Antioch Road. I'm a half-mile south of the proposed site, and I'm especially concerned about the noise pollution. Before today, I did not realize how serious it was. I knew it affected special needs people, but why was I wrong? It affects all of us. I spoke to Midwest Generator Solutions today about their diesel generators. They're located right here in Martinsville. They said their big generators run at 62 decibels. That would be in addition to the cooling fans, which is at least 60 decibels, although they don't add linear. But it would combine. And so anyways, the American Speech, Language, and Hearing Association has identified 85 decibels as harmful to all of us. Listening to constant noise at any decibel level is harmful to all of us. It can cause headaches, nausea, dizziness, hearing loss, panic attacks, anxiety, and more. Then I researched Harvard Medical School about frequency and how it affects us. And they said both high and low frequencies are very harmful to humans and to health. Then it's also physical as well as psychological health problems. This is the illnesses that Harvard says constant exposure to noise can cause. Type 2 diabetes, sleep disturbances, mental health problems, cognitive problems, childhood learning delays. And there is a preschool 1/2 mile south of the proposed site at Antioch Road and 42. Also low birth weights and possible link to dementia. So the EPA addresses noise as a growing health hazard for all Americans. The European Environmental Agency ranks noise pollution second only to air pollution as far as human hazards. And I'd like to ask you all, look at New Carlisle in northern Indiana and what has happened to that nice little town. It has a gigantic data center, Amazon data center there, and it is destroying that beautiful little town. If you could look it up on the internet. Also to you two, do you know that we have a radon gas problem? It's all over Indiana, but it's very prevalent in Mooresville and Monrovia. And I know of 3 houses that are two are a half mile away, 1 is a mile away, and they're in 3 different directions from your proposed site that have radon gas in them.
Jessica Sigler.
Good evening. I'm Jessica Sigler. I live on West Gordon Road. It's a Mooresville address, but I'm a mile east from the high school football field and a mile south from the proposed data center. And I had a lot of questions, but my church family, they came up and asked a lot of the questions already. But my biggest one is, where can we find the answers to our questions? I didn't know that you couldn't answer us while we were here. I was really hoping for simple yes or no's, or here's where they'll be posted later. Can you at least tell us that? Where will the answers to our questions be posted later? And who will they be coming from?
Once he does a rebuttal, we'll ask the questions.
Will that be tonight?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Ryan Sigler.
Good evening to you all. I'm Ryan Sigler, Jessica's husband. About 8-9 years ago, I decided to buy my childhood home, which is 1 mile south. And prior to moving there, our well already had to go 20 feet deeper, from a 60 foot to an 80 foot. And just like the first round of this, Monrovia couldn't provide us any answers.
Hey,
The county
sir,
couldn't provide us any
Turn
answers.
that mic a little bit, it's not recording.
The questions everybody has have not been answered, and that's the problem with all this. How do you expect people that have been in this neighborhood for all their life to be good with something to just be passed through and not feel railroaded? That's really all I have to say.
Thank you.
Brandy Garland.
Brandy Garland, I live in Morgantown, 46160, and I don't have any beautiful prepared statements or facts to bring up here, but I'm not going to do anything that I haven't asked my friends and neighbors to do, which is to come and speak out against this. I don't think it's too late. I truly don't. I think that all of you are truly paying attention, except for maybe one. And I think that you're all genuinely torn on what to do because you know that the community is against this. I do. I think that you have a chance to be a hero. You've seen how the community reacted to Franklin Township when their community beat theirs back. There is better business. There truly is better business options than to run people out of our town and to, you know, and again, I think that a lot of this, and somebody touched on it earlier, a lot of it's to do with the fact that HB1 was passed down from the state, or It's now called the Senate Enrollment Act, and I know that a lot of counties are not real sure what the future looks like. And I feel like a lot of folks in political positions right now feel a little desperate and trying to figure out where they're going to get that money from. And I want to urge you not to make a decision out of desperation. And I know you're the plan committee, you're not the whole end all be all of this. I get that, we all do. But we're going to show up at every meeting, all of us, we're gonna keep going. I mean, look at the involvement from the community that you guys have gotten. I mean, this is a big deal. This is impacting a lot of people. We've got vets that are up here upset, and we're tone policing a vet because we're robbing his community. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? AI, this race for AI, what are we in such a hurry for? All it's promised us is that it's gonna take most of our jobs away. Cool, then what? We don't have a plan for after that. Much like SB1, we passed the bill, but we don't have a plan for what's next. So I would urge you to slow down, to not add on to this, to really consider these folks' questions. If you guys can talk with somebody to be able to get professionals that can answer these questions and have an open setting, and maybe you did that early on, but most of us didn't know what was going on. So if we could somehow not operate in the dark of night and behind closed doors, the community would be greater for it, because we're not going away. I mean, it's just, this is gonna affect all of us for a long time to come. My son, when we pulled up today, he's been with the start of all of this protesting. He got out of the car and he said, say no to data centers, they take all of our water away. So even he knows, and he's 6. So I just urge you, please, please consider, heavily consider, because I know that you're torn. I can help. Thank you.
Thank you.
Aislinn Lowry. No Aislinn? Kim Renner? No Kim? I might not have this right. Nail Clift? Nail? He left?
No, he's right there.
Okay.
How you doing today? Hope you guys are well. I only have about 30 seconds that I want to say something. So,
We need you to state your name.
Nathaniel Clift, Martinsville. I just wanted to see you guys' faces up close and personal. So when the people with the torches and the pitchforks come after you, you know who to go for. Because I think eventually society is going to get to that point. We're all just kind of fed up with the tyranny and the corruption from every level. Doesn't matter if it's local, state, federal, doesn't matter. So eventually I think we're all just going to grab some torches and pitchforks and storm the castles. Because I think that's what's inevitably going to happen if nobody wants to pay attention to any of us. Because there's a lot more of us than there is of you. So I just wanted to see your guys' faces up close and personal. See you. Oh, one more thing. I still have 2 minutes. Power corrupts, and absolute power absolutely corrupts. Just so you're listening, I just wanted to see your eyes too. I'm looking right at. I just wanted to see your eyes. Power corrupts. Absolute power absolutely corrupts. And one of my other favorite quotes: "It is no measure of good health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society." So there's some thought, food for thought.
Brad Perry. Brad Perry, I believe it's Brad, you're passing. Susan, I believe the last name is Kessler. I don't have the middle name. Is Susan here? Brad Perry passed.
Good evening. Susan Bullion Kessler, 873 West Keller Hill Road, Mooresville, Indiana, 46158. I don't know where to go after the last statement, but I'll try and keep it a little calmer. I was told not to show emotion and that I should write off of just facts. And so I've got statistics and that, and hopefully you're interested, but it looks like you might be quite bored, but I do have them, and I'll make them available to you because I'm going to make this move a little bit quicker. I am involved in a lawsuit. So if I look familiar and there's a negative facial expression from you, you know me by that. And no matter what your decision tonight, we will continue on because we deserve to. Our community needs it. So I'm going to lead off with the violation of trust that the gentleman had spoke before. Excuse me. In direct opposition to the 158 acres that you would like to rezone, I think it's a complete action you've chosen with incomplete thoughts. And you can tell by the last 3 meetings and this one. Rural farming communities like ours in Indiana's agricultural heartland rely on delicate balance of land, water, and ecosystems. It is a cornerstone of local livelihoods and food security. Introduction of a data center such as the one that you want plus the expansion would disrupt the balance. Through irreversible land use and also changes, excessive water consumption and increased pollution while offering limited long-term benefits to residents. The land use conversion, data centers require large tracts of land. And we see this and we know this. It's going to require hundreds of acres for a facility serving a 2,300 kilowatt plant. A web result from Pharmanaut, which was one of the most recent ones in June 17th of 2025, notes that such projects will shift land from agriculture to industrial use, threatening Indiana's rural character and reducing the land arability for homes and small businesses, with the U.S. farmland already declining by 11 million acres since 2000. And that is the USDA data that has presented that. So preserving every acre and every bit of land that we can is critical. Excuse me here. Limited job creation, I think that a lot of people are fooled by that. Temporary jobs, and it's outsourced. Operational roles are minimal. Highly skilled, offering little to rural communities. Well, that didn't get me too far, did it? Can I just state in conclusion, too? In conclusion, preserving environmental integrity, economic stability, and cultural heritage of rural farming areas outweighs the short-term economic gains of data centers. The irreversible loss of farmland, water stress, pollution, and minimal local benefits compounded with rising costs and the quality of life issues makes this an unsustainable trade-off. Please do not do this. Thank you.
Now. Carrie Moore.
Terry Moore. Terry Moore,
Terry
you in the
Moore.
room? Yeah.
Is this about right?
Yep.
Okay. My name is Terry Moore. I live at 1787 West State Road 42 in Morrisville. I am directly across from the data center. We just found out a couple months ago, our home was built in 1830. We worked hard, my husband and I, to be able to get that. Well, he died. Now I'm on my income, which is nothing. Taxes are going up, water's going up. I won't be able to sell my house worth crap. The traffic now on 42 is horrible. This week it started. Once everybody got their money, their millions of dollars, because you're gonna tear their house down for the data center, and I can tell you some amounts that they're gonna be, but I'm not going to. So what do they do for all of us that live right on the edges of those? You found 2 families that have children that cannot deal with what is going to happen over there. Did they care? No. I'm on a well. I have a small little pond. I'm not gonna have water. Then with the electricity going up, the taxes are going up. I don't wanna live someplace that's not safe, but I also don't wanna leave my home of 41 years where we raised our children, our grandchildren, and our great-grandchildren. I don't even wanna let them to be able to go outside if this thing goes through. Because if they get sick, God only knows, nobody's gonna do anything. Just like, why can't they say anything to some of us? Well, why don't we make sure that, this isn't all trashed out when they come in to do it? I was told by one of the surveyors, the only problem you're gonna have is it's gonna be pure hell when they start it all. Oh, thank you. So it just appalls me to think it's okay that we don't have everything that it needs to have to be open so that it doesn't all coincide with everything. But I'm losing my whole entire life by having to be thrown out of this house because I can't afford it. So I just hope you all can sleep at night because I sure the hell have not been. Thank you.
Kathy Morrow,
Yes,
Bob Morrow,
yes.
Steve Pickrell, Steve Pickrell. That's the last one on that page.
Stephen Pickrell, I live at 435 South Baltimore Road, Monrovia. That is in town. Somebody said something about being a vet. That was me who talked earlier. I'm a 31-year-old vet. Indiana Guard the whole way, guys. I went out and did a lot of stuff, always in the back of my mind, that I had Indiana's back.
Sir, get a little closer to the mic.
Sorry. I want to have everybody's back. I want to have every one of yours back, but you don't have ours. You're getting ready to kill this town. There ain't no 2 ways about it. Now I'm going to have to go and figure out from my insurance company if I'm covered for sinkholes. Once you pull all the water out, the land sinks. Monrovia has already had a sinkhole in downtown with the main intersection, if you want to call it that, right by the diner. Guys, you all have taken oaths. You have. I want you to remember who you work for and what you're supposed to be freaking doing, all right? You each have a responsibility that I think some of you, took seriously. Sorry about waking you up there, dude. Never mind. And we've already heard that there are physical lives that are gonna be vastly impacted by this. Children sorry, you're killing us. You will kill this community. I hope you're proud. Thank you.
Larry Elig. Larry Elig? Is Larry in the room? I'm sorry? Ellis?
My name is Larry Ellis, and I live in Mooresville, Indiana, 46158. I have the privilege of being the trustee for Madison Township, serving 10,200 residents. Some of those residents are here tonight. Our fear is that not only will this affect Monrovia, but it could potentially affect Madison Township. It certainly will affect the whole county as a whole. This evening, you had a gentleman with a hat on. I don't know if you paid attention to his hat. It said Army, Artillery. That man lives in Monrovia. That man fought for our country. There are many men probably out here that fought for our country, and women as well, as maybe some of you have. Now what we're looking to do is take their livelihood away, their dream away, their retirement away, and say, you're on your own, big boy. How many of us would want to serve in a country that does that to us? This evening we had a Pledge of Allegiance to the Republic of the United States. This country started out as a republic. Then everybody wanted democracy. Now we have a hierarchy where a certain amount of people make all the decisions for everybody. I certainly hope that Morgan County doesn't have a hierarchy, but we're still a republic, and that we pay attention to the folks that are here. As far as generators go, we have 2 fire stations. We have commercial generators. I don't know how their generators will work, but ours kick on automatically once a week to make sure that they're working. And they run from anywhere from 15 minutes to a half hour. And they're quite noisy, quite frankly. Now, many of you, I'm sure, when you were elected, before you were elected, you went knocking on doors. You went to see your constituents to get their vote. But how many have gone and knocked on their doors to talk about this plan? I find that if you're not willing to share the information, it's usually not good for the people. So I would challenge you, 2 challenges. 1, don't be a hierarchy. And 2, go knock on doors and find out what people really think.
Steve Reams. Ann Reams. Marty Martindale.
Marty Martindale or Caleb Martindale, depending on if you're looking at government paperwork. I'm probably the least prepared one and the most in need of a shower at this point because I came straight from work, kissed the wife and my little boy, and then headed out this way. Honestly, I don't think I have a whole lot more to contribute than what has already been said. Morgan County has a very special place in my heart at this point. And this is about what I can contribute. This was the place where I bought my first home. This is the place where I welcomed my first boy, and my next one is coming up in November. It was a place where I was married. It was a place where I was baptized and gave my life to Christ. This is becoming a very important place for me where I am laying down some heavy roots. I'm also a truck driver by trade, and I get to see a pretty good cross-section of the U.S. I get to see when all these warehouses, when all these data centers, when all these things start popping up. And I'm telling you right now, it may seem a little bit further away from you, because that's how it starts. And then more start coming, and then more start coming. And the next thing you know, you're swimming in a hellscape of these big buildings all over the place, completely destroying your countryside. Indiana, a lot of people like to say, oh, well, there's more than corn in Indiana. And, we got those stupid signs now that say more to find in Indiana. It's like some soulless brochure that doesn't mean anything. But yeah, we have corn. We have food here that we grow, because if you don't have food, if you don't have energy, if you don't have people, you don't have a country. You start going downhill, and it seems like the big thing that a lot of people are picking up on is the fact that this is going to destroy the amount of energy that we've got coming into this area, because, again, it just sucks energy like nobody's business when we're talking about, the possibility of small nuclear power plants built like, 50 kilometers under the earth just to power some of these things. And then we're talking about the water going. We're talking about all of these things that we're talking about a 3-legged stool here right now, and we're trying to kick out 2 of the legs. It doesn't seem like this is a good idea. And I understand the progress that we could possibly have at first. It sounds like a decent idea. And I appeal to your better judgment with thinking that this progress could lead us to better places. But we need to take a step back and look at what this could possibly lead to. Because progress is only good if you have a destination in mind. If you just keep driving, you're going to find you're going to fall off a cliff. And with that, I don't have too terribly much more, but I ask that you folks think about this. Think about these other folks around here. Think about me. Think about my boys. Think about my wife. Think about the infrastructure, because, I mean, Johnson County is really important to me, too. That's where I was born and raised, and I've been seeing how that's been going, and it's been sad. On that note, I'm going to get a shower and put my boy to bed.
Melanie Barker. No Melanie? Dennis DeFord? No Dennis? Ollie Skillern? And Savannah Hayden? I think I don't have that first name right. You're passing? Tell me what that name is. Satanya. Sorry, I apologize. Okay, that is the full list of speakers, unless I have missed someone in the room who signed up that we didn't call. I'm sorry?
My name is Sandy Gady, and it was on there, and you just didn't mention it. She might not have been able to hear it because everybody was disregarding. She was the second sheet.
Sandy, what did you say your last name was, ma'am?
I'm sure she could read, so it was wrote down, had nothing to do with hearing.
Ma'am,
My name is Sandy Gady.
we've got you here. We just she couldn't pronounce your name, so.
Well,
Ma'am, you can talk.
I didn't have a response when we called it. I wrote
Ma'am,
down
you can
no
talk.
response. You can speak. Come speak.
You're welcome to talk, ma'am.
There, mark out no response.
It's Sandy Gady, and I'm from Martinsville, Indiana. I'm actually out of Monrovia, but I have a Martinsville address. I'm not gonna say too much because it looks like you're all bored and you probably already all made up your mind.
Ma'am, talk
from the beginning.
talk
when it
into the
came.
mic, please.
I am
Can't pick you up. I need you more into the mic.
Huh?
I need you to lean into the mic more. I can't pick you up.
So it's recorded.
Okay, like I said, I mean, it just seems like you guys are bored sitting there. I'm watching everybody. I'm listening to what everybody says. And from the get-go, when this all started, and the people didn't find out, and we didn't get a chance to come to the table and talk to you all about it, which we should have. It's our community too. So we should have all been included, not just the board making the decisions before we had a chance to hear it, because we didn't get notification on it. But for this big of a thing that's going on, I think that the town should have taken more than $1 million or more than given them tax-free taxes at all for this type of a business on the Google, Meta, whatever it is. The bottom line is you're changing our comprehensive plan for a data center in the middle of Monrovia with less than 2,000 people. It's a small rural community. It's all farmland, close-knit people, and you're putting it out in the middle there. Why? Why there? Why didn't you choose somewhere else? If you want it so bad, why didn't you put it in Martinsville, over in the industrial area where it belongs? If Martinsville and Morgan County want it so bad, move it to an industrial area in Martinsville where all you guys get to look at it every day. And it affects Martinsville, you know, not just the rural counties, not the farmlands. When you take away all the farmlands, eventually Indiana is on this thing. And when you take away what Indiana is known for, which is their farms, the corn and everything, you don't have food. So if you don't have food, the best way to take over a country is to take their food. And that's the first thing that goes. And that's what you're doing. And I can't believe you guys would just not listen to the people. I know all the board meetings had everybody against this, but you guys all said yes. Why? You were voted in. They believed in you. You're supposed to stand for us. That's the republic we live in. That is what you're supposed to do. Now, probably next time you go, you're probably not getting elected. I'm sorry. Because this shouldn't have ever went through. He's lying. He's an attorney. That's what they do. They lie to get their clients what they want. And that is, you haven't heard it. You have no background. You've done no research. You have no surveys. You have nothing from the EPA. You have nothing on water, nothing. I can tell you, I tried to build something in Monrovia. They don't have the infrastructure. I was turned down for the infrastructure because there is not enough water nor sewer to suffice another business that I wanted to put in there. And it was far from a data center. But your data center is, you're just gonna drain Monrovia. You're gonna have a county gone. It'll be off the books, off the map, when it just actually went on the map. So now you're gonna take a town away from Morgan County. That's all I have to say.
That's all we have signed up to speak. We didn't miss anyone else, did we? All right. Okay, we will go on. Mr. Calderon, your rebuttal?
Thank you. There's probably no way I can answer every single question that's been posed or respond to every single comment. So this may seem a little broad-brushed. Let me take a couple of things in order. This project is not going to be water's not going to come by wells drilled on this property. There will be a decision made as to whether this is water-cooled or air-cooled. That decision has not yet been made. That's part of the due diligence process.
Ms. Time.
Process.
He's trying to answer your questions. Give Ms. Time.
So zoning, unfortunately for the folks here, is kind of an upfront thing in many ways. As you know, being Plan Commission members, you are counting on, rightly so, the various other agencies, federal, state, and local, to make sure that projects follow rules, regulations, statutes, etc. That's no different in this case. We will have to get every single permit from the county, from the state, potentially from the feds, depending upon what actually has to take place as part of the development. That is not an unusual or abnormal or side deal type of thing. As far as the generators are concerned, those are used for emergency uses only. They are tested once a month. They're on about 31 hours per year during normal business hours, daytime. That noise standard that we have is inclusive of our generator testing and as well as our operations. As far as how the process plays out, this is absolutely in accordance with the state statutory scheme for zoning. It's not by referendum, you are a planning commission. I don't envy you because you are facing your peers, people that you may go to church with, kids might have gone to school with, etc. That does not make your job. I don't envy your decision tonight. You are a recommender based on planning principles, and we believe that when you consider this proposal, the planning side of this, and your expert, your staff will likely back me up in a few minutes, that when you weigh in the factors that the state puts out, the guidelines for making a zoning recommendation, that this checks the boxes. Doesn't have to be verbatim with the comprehensive plan. That's one of 5 factors that is within the statutory scheme for zoning decisions. We appreciate where people are coming from in terms of their personal stories, their personal fears. Nobody wants to, on our behalf, create any issues from a neighbor standpoint. When we make and put standards in our ordinance, if we fail to live up those standards, you have the power. You can ask your Plan Commission attorney. If we don't meet our standards, we can be sued, we can be shut down. There is recourse, fines, injunctive relief available. So they are not empty promises. There will be no nuclear power. The recent there was an article I think I read this morning that the Nuclear Trade Association is projecting a lot of nuclear power in the future. Nothing in the next decade is going to be available. This is looking out across the nationwide out to 2050. So this is not a ruse to allow our client to embark on any nuclear on-site power. This, as mentioned, has been a collaboration to some degree with AES. AES has in fact come out and put out a position paper that they believe that because of data centers, that rates can actually, and this is AES, can't speak for others, can actually reduce utility rates. Finally, let me just leave you with this. When you as a plan commission and when the county commissioners adopt a zoning ordinance, it is in the furtherance, and the only reason we can have zoning is because under our Constitution, and I appreciate those who have served to defend our Constitution or have quoted the Constitution or the principles of our Constitution, zoning is in the interest of the public health, safety, and general welfare. It's police power. So when you adopt a zoning ordinance and you have standards for commercial business, industrial business, residential, farm, et cetera, and you put in development standards to say, okay, we want you to have so much setback from roads, so much setbacks from rear property, front property, all those standards, those have to be in furtherance of exactly what I just mentioned, the public health, safety, and general welfare. So when we propose a PUD that takes the standards that would otherwise apply to an I-1 and we increase those standards, we believe that we are acting in furtherance of the public health, safety, and general welfare. And we appreciate your time and your consideration for a positive recommendation to the commissioners this evening. Happy to answer any additional questions you may have.
Yeah, real quick. Yeah.
I will answer this gentleman's question about Franklin Township.
I didn't hear what he said.
He said, what about Franklin Township? We actually had positive recommendations from the Plan Commission, the hearing examiner from the Plan Commission, and the Franklin Township Civic League. Got caught up at City Council. So this is the Plan Commission version of that. Thank you.
Hey, we need to step up. We got questions. Yeah, yeah.
I know that you said that you've not yet decided if this would be water or air-cooled, but can you speak to the availability of water if it's water-cooled?
I might have my civil counterpart come up and answer.
Probably a good resource.
Yes, as a resource for that, because they are actively involved in that part of it.
Right, right.
Matt Stipula, 5500 New Albany Road, Columbus, Ohio. Yes, so as a part of the due diligence, there is a study of the aquifer and its availability to provide the water, along with working with providers to see what infrastructure improvements would need to be made in order to provide that water. If that water is not available, then the water-cooled option would not be used, and we would switch to something more like an air-cooled option. So that's part of our process, is the due diligence to ensure the strength of the aquifer.
Okay.
You're not looking at the aquifer around Monrovia, correct?
It would be within the supply area for the public utilities provided.
There were utility, you possibly, what are the utilities that you're looking at?
Morgan County Rural Water and Citizens Energy Group.
And Citizen? Okay. Since you're up there, I got another question for you. Brought up about traffic. Can you discuss if you've done a traffic study or anything like that to us?
Yeah, so a traffic study has been completed for the project, and that's been sent to Morgan County and Hendrick County, basically looking at any improvements that would be needed for both construction traffic and for permanent traffic on the site.
Have you talked to the state also?
Yes, we have been coordinating with the state as well, and that process is ongoing as far as the traffic study and getting final approval on that.
Okay. About the noise, the one question was whether they have any recourse or any guarantees. Would that be, that'll be in the PUD?
It is, Mr. Brock. We actually have the standard written into the PUD.
It's right in the PUD?
It's in the PUD, the verbatim.
Okay.
And if you want to consult with your attorney, there would be recourse if we fail to live up to that standard.
Is there recourse? There is recourse. Okay. That's what I need to know on that.
As previously mentioned, and for the benefit of the audience, if I wasn't clear, there is injunctive and financial recourse that would be brought by the County Plan Commission for violating that ordinance.
What else have I got?
This also says that. This also says that noise testing or
Sir, hang on. Trying to see what else I've got.
Could you go through what brought up this phase 2? Why did this even happen?
Well, as you may have noticed, Woodland Caribou, who is our client and was the applicant for the project that we brought as PUD number 1 in February, HDC had the property under contract for development, and they came in accord with our client to bring forth this proposal. So frankly, it kind of came out of the blue, so to speak. It was an opportunity because that the co-applicant was looking at an independent development. I'm not sure what it was. They were not our client per se, and so the opportunity came and was presented to Woodland Caribou, who is our client. And they decided to take advantage of it because it's contiguous ground and an opportunity for potential future investment.
We had a question about employment. Can you go over that? What type of employment you're looking at? And,
well, I have not been involved on the county councilor side and commissioner side in terms of any abatement agreement, which usually provides the job and investment. But generally speaking, there are direct jobs, construction jobs, and then spin-off jobs. Direct jobs are not like an audit plant. There's not 5,000 people that come to work. There could be, I think, a minimum guarantee of at least 50 jobs coming every day to that site, but the construction jobs are in the hundreds, if not thousands, and the spin-off jobs are similar in terms of what is hired for support work. So all in all, there are significant jobs, and keep in mind, in the experience of these things, minimums are minimums, and typically, when it's all said and done, the job numbers are greater than the minimums as proposed.
Can you speak at all to how long it takes to actually construct the data center complex? Can you speak to that time frame?
Well, I'm not sure, again, exactly what was proposed in the abatement agreement, but typically you can build a building in a year's time, and if there are multiple buildings, the time frame can be within a few years or longer. none of the buildings are built without making sure that there's adequate infrastructure to support them on on the energy side, et cetera. So it could be 5 years, it could be 10 years, just depending upon how the infrastructure to support the
Is there an EA or an EIS required for construction? An environmental assessment or environmental impact statement?
Well-
Are either of those required?
We do environmental studies, and if there are acts that are triggered that require permitting, whether it be wetland mitigation or whatnot, yes, all of those are studied and permits have to be issued. That has to do, there could be anything from DNR to IDEM in that regard. But because it's not a federal project per se, then there is no environmental impact statement that's required to be filed with, say, the federal government. And the state doesn't have one of a mini
doesn't have one of
version
the
of that.
requirements?
The state doesn't require one. Everything would be dependent upon the work proposed that might trigger a particular state law in that realm.
Can you speak on the taxes at all? I don't know if you're involved in that or.
Look, my partner is involved in that aspect of it, and there is a tax abatement component that is comprised of a real property tax abatement that is determined at the county level, the length and the schedule for that. That is always burned off over the maximum for real property tax abatement is 10 years on the improvements only. There is a personal property abatement that is longer term, that is by state statute and then approved by the county council. And then there are various state incentives that relate to sales and use tax. So
the personal property was a state?
That's approved by the county, but it's a state. It's different than the tax abatement statute for non-data center type projects is 10 years real, and I think 20 years personal, and I think the data center for data center equipment is 40 years by the state code. So it's separate statute from the normal abatement toolkit.
And that's been in the state for what, 5, 6 years?
Yeah, I think 2019.
Something like that, okay. Any other questions?
For the engineer,
Here we go, there's your engineer.
we talked about the water going in. Now, if water was used to cool, is it in and back out, or is it circulate for a certain amount of time, and where does the wastewater go?
So, yeah, that technology, it's always evolving, but yes, they're able to use it. They're going to use it as much as they can before it goes. Now, as far as where it goes, that's part of the decision to go with air-cooled versus water-cooled. Right now, with part of the due diligence, we're working on where we'll accept the discharge for treatment. So that's another piece of the decision on what cooling method to use.
So the treated water can go back into the system, correct?
Yes.
Into the watershed?
Yes.
Okay.
What chemicals are in that water once it comes out of the data center?
So it's really the chemicals that are in it, they're just a higher concentration because really it's just being circulated and evaporated, so there's just a higher concentration of the chemicals that are in the water to begin with.
So what chemicals are there? There has to be something so it doesn't rust or mess up the cooling.
Yeah, I guess I can't speak to exactly the water makeup of the supply from the suppliers, but it would be, the same supply that's going to any of the users from from that supplier.
Now there's two separate, you have your sewer, then you have the water. Now that's treated separately, correct?
Correct, yes. The water would be from, from the supplier through their water treatment system that would come to their site. And then once it's discharged, it would be treated as a sewer discharge.
Okay. Any other questions?
So you mentioned
Yes,
that the water would
water's
be
purchased.
more concentrated before it's discharged. Will it be filtered before it's discharged?
That would go to a treatment plant for a wastewater treatment plant before it's discharged.
So would it be pass-through? Would it be a pass-through?
As far as, yeah, I mean, it would come in, be circulated for the water cooling,
But
and then
not
discharged
treated?
to the sanitary.
Okay, into the sanitary?
Yeah.
That answer your question, Michelle?
I think so.
That answer your question?
I think so.
Kind of?
Kind of.
What else you got?
I guess, is that wastewater on-site, or is that an off-site company where that'll be going?
As far as the treatment?
Wastewater, yeah.
That, right now, that's part of due diligence as far as which company would accept it. Also, on-site treatment is an option.
So that it is an option for on-site?
Yes, that's a potential option.
For the benefit of this committee here, I'll just let you know that there are IURC proceedings that are relating to who will have jurisdiction to serve this area, and that is, I'm sure, I'm sorry, but probably beyond this gentleman's knowledge. And so the folks that are beckoning from the back don't understand that we can't answer those questions until we have resolution of those issues from the IURC. But there are people who are in the process of making a reasoned decision about who and which entities will be serving that need.
All right, thank you. Oh. Any other questions? Any other questions?
We understand the IURC is likely to render its decision in March of 2026.
March?
Yeah. Could be sooner, but likely not, given
So you have
our
multiple,
experience.
different options for service?
Well, there's a utility that put forth a proposal to the IURC, and then another one came in to challenge that, and that's what's being
Is that where
settled
it's-
by and through the IURC, so.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Mr. Rumbaugh, you got a question? No? Well, you leaned up towards the mic. I thought you might have. All right, we'll move on then, if there are no other questions at this time. Staff report. Ms. Parker. I think I had another sheet, but I don't know where it was.
First of all, I've worked with you for a number of years now, and I just want to thank you for your due diligence tonight and your interest and the fact that you've paid attention and listened politely to all of these public comments. So thank you for that. I know it's a tough job. I'm just going to briefly go over my staff recommendation for you. It was in your handouts, but I think for the benefit of the public, I will provide that as well. I do also want to point out that the Technical Advisory Committee, which doesn't normally review land use decisions by the board, I did have them meet just to get input from those agencies throughout the county, and not one of them had any concerns about this PUD, nor did they for the first one that was done, that was approved back in February. So
Could you tell us who was involved in those tech meetings?
we had the county engineer, the county surveyor, county sheriff, the fire chief for Monroe Township, 911 dispatch, stormwater administrator, and of course myself. So those were the agencies involved. So with regard to staff recommendation, so we've had a lot of talk about comprehensive land use plans. So it's important to note that that is a guide. It is not set in stone. It's made by county officials with the input from the public. It's a strategic land use decision guide for the county. It's a very high-level look at things and where you anticipate or predict that growth may be appropriate to occur and areas that you want to preserve. So it's important to note that innovation and economic opportunities have come to us that were not apparent in 2017, 18, and 19 when the plan was being worked on. So those things have not yet been updated. We are looking at doing another update here in another year or two to catch up with things that have changed. But those aren't the only factors that are taken into consideration. I did provide you with a handout that outlined what state statute likes you to look at when you're contemplating planning and zoning decisions. So not just the comprehensive plan, but also current conditions, which have changed, the most desirable use of land for that area, conservation of property values throughout the county, and responsible growth and development. So if you take a very high-level look at this area of the county and the maps that we've created from our prior plan, we have this area identified as a high-intensity area because 70 is right there. We've got corridors there from 70 leading across the northern portion of the county, which is where we anticipate growth to be most appropriate. So this isn't out of character for this. It just maybe the use wasn't contemplated when the plan was crafted, but certainly would be today because we know things today that we didn't know back then. Just like 30 years ago or 50 years ago, there were things that weren't contemplated that we now embrace today. So likewise, 50 years from now, there's going to be some uses that we can't foresee. So that is the evolution and why we call it a comprehensive land use plan and why it is at a very high level. So it's the planning and zoning ordinances that we implement as a result of the comp plan that was referenced in terms of the development standards for each of those zoning districts. That's the low level look at it where boots are on the ground and we have to make sure that we have those standards in place for those districts. So when we make a land use change that is appropriate for the area, we put those guidelines in place. And as it's already been stated, several of those standards have been increased over and above what we normally would require for an industrial use area. So I believe that this is a good land use for this area. I think it's appropriate. I think it is supported by the comprehensive land use plan. And so staff recommends support of this request.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This closes the public portion of the hearing. We'll go on to, the floor is open for discussion. Hear from you? Sure. If I have to. Yeah. Wasn't on my agenda, our attorney wanted to speak, so I apologize.
Ann Cowger.
And who you represent, please? Yeah, you have to lift it.
Sorry. Ann Cowger, County Attorney. I live in Martinsville, Indiana. I just want to remind this commission before you begin your deliberations. This is actually available for your reference during your deliberations at page 14 of your packet that you received in preparation for tonight's meeting. In preparing and considering proposals regarding local planning and zoning ordinances, which that is indeed what you are considering here this evening, the Plan Commission shall pay reasonable regard to the following items: pursuant to Indiana Code 3674603. One is the comprehensive plan. Number 2 is the current conditions and character of current structures and the use in each district. 3 is the most desirable use for which the land in each district is adapted. 4 is the conservation of property values throughout the jurisdiction, and 5 is the responsible development and growth. Those are the statutory factors. Again, none of them is weighed heavier. It doesn't mean that it's a checklist. These are the factors to which you give reasonable regard in making your decision. As a reminder also, the Morgan County Comprehensive Plan goals listed in the packet provided again to you by Ms. Parker are to support appropriate and quality development in Morgan County, encourage intergovernmental cooperation and communication, increase housing diversity and options in the county, protect natural resources within the county, further advance quality of life improvements in the county, promote a diversified and growing economy, and encourage quality non-transportation infrastructure. So, those are the factors that are in front of you all. I know that you will consider those as you make your decision, but just as a reminder. Did you have anything else for me?
No questions? All right, thank you.
Dan, can you just clarify
there is a question.
our role as plan commission members versus commissioners?
Yes, as Plan Commission members, you folks will make a recommendation. You will make a decision tonight, and that will be your recommendation. And as Mr. Brock pointed out at the beginning, that can be we recommend approval, we recommend that you don't approve, we make no recommendation. Those are your options. And then eventually it will come before the commissioners, and I'll then be sitting up there telling them about the same factors.
Thank you.
Any other questions for? No, all right, thank you. Now we're going to close our public portion of the hearing. The floor is open for discussion. Mr. Rumbaugh, I know you got a question, I can see you.
A lot of you want to call me a crook. I live in Jackson Township on a small farm. I've lived here for over half a century. I don't get paid much for this. I do catch a lot of hell. You know, I go to the grocery store with my wife. I have family in Monrovia area. I'm a veteran. Somebody said that. Doesn't make any difference. Everybody's American, gets to vote the same way, whether you are or not. It's not a fun vote. Make no bones about it. The people that sold this ground sold it willingly. And they made a fair amount of money from what I'm told. I have no idea what they made. Doesn't make any difference to me. It's not my ground. I have a grandson, I should say, business, not in data centers, but he's actually a hacker for the United States government, as I'm told. There's 190 centers right where he is. He's at Bethesda Naval up in northern Virginia. He's also around a bunch of nuclear aircraft carriers that he hasn't cloned yet. He's been there quite a while. I know that the power company doesn't give away power. They haven't given me any. I'm on RMC, by the way. They're planning to upgrade the station, as I understand it from reading the local newspaper, the AES station here. I look at this as it's a heck of a lot nicer than we have. Roughly 1,000 houses could go in this area. I'm talking, I'd rather see this than 1,000 houses, to be quite honest. and I don't care what you say, I'm talking. I'm talking, and you had your chance. Okay,
Hey,
I'm giving my
everyone-
opinion now. Everybody had their chance.
Bill?
I don't like being called a crook. I don't being called that I'm getting things. I don't think I'm scamming anybody. I'm up here to make a very painful vote. And the accusations have not set well with me. I didn't make my decision yet until I came here tonight. I just hope that when it's all over with, there's not a lot of hatred and viciousness.
Thank you, Bill. Anybody else have any comments they'd like to make?
I said this back in February as part of the various things that I brought up. I'm not going to rehash all of those. Ultimately, and unfortunately, zoning is one of the first things that has to be done with a piece of property to...
You must not be.
My apologies. Unfortunately, zoning is one of the first things that has to be done, and there's a lot of questions that aren't answered. Unfortunately, we have to make a lot of decisions up here with zoning and various things without all the answers, and I'm going to say we don't always get them right. May not know for a while. But it's part of the process locally and at the state, and ultimately, there's a lot of other people and agencies and boards that this still will have to go through. And ultimately, our job is to rule on the zoning and trust the other agencies to do their job to vet out the process.
Nothing? Okay. Anyone else? All right. The floor is open for a motion.
I make a motion that we approve for recommendation to the commissioners with a favorable recommendation. I've lost the, there you go. The rezone petition for PUD 25-03.
We have a motion for a favorable recommendation from Mr. Boy. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
5-2. The count is 5-2. The motion passes for a favorable recommendation. It will be heard in front of the commissioners October 6th. Is that correct? Thank you for having me back, Jason. All right. Commissioners meeting.
Guys, you guys still gotta finish the meeting.
To adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Dustin moves. We have a second.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Meeting's adjourned.